To begin with, what else could possibly convince them? That's the thought lingering in my mind after the president shared yet another offensive item online. He reposted a clip that showed the Obamas portrayed as monkeys. Senator Tim Scott mentioned he hoped it wasn't real, then admitted it was the worst example of prejudice he'd witnessed from this administration. We could tell right away it was genuine. The administration tried to justify it, releasing a note that urged everyone to drop the pretend anger. But clearly, the upset was legitimate, strong enough that they removed the item and pointed fingers at some anonymous aide. Then the president contradicted that by saying he'd viewed the clip, though not the section about the Obamas. Republican Representative John James criticized the footage. Yet after reviewing it along with everything else the president has stated, done, or shared, James insisted the president isn't prejudiced. So what additional proof would he require? For years, his defenders have claimed he lacks any hint of bias and that his true feelings are unknowable. What further evidence would be necessary? Even now, President Trump highlights President Obama's middle name, Hussein. He promoted the unfounded idea that Obama wasn't born here. For what reason? What else would they demand to recognize it? He instructed 4 U.S. Congresswomen of color to return to their homelands. He shared an image of Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero. He repeatedly calls black women in politics unintelligent. Why? What more would convince them? The president wondered why we couldn't bring in more folks from Norway, Sweden, or Denmark instead of those from Somalia he called worthless, or Haitians from nations he labeled disasters, with claims about them consuming pets. He wants Afghans and Venezuelans gone, but he'd accept some South Africans, the white ones. What additional signs would they need? President Trump describes places like Baltimore and Chicago as total messes. He points out Atlanta, Detroit, and Philadelphia specifically when talking about supposed voting issues. Why those? What else would it take for them to see? How often can the president make or share biased remarks while Republican leaders keep declaring he's not biased? What more would they require? Actually, let's put that on hold. Instead, consider listing everything out fully. Jot down all the details, then look up what prejudice really means and decide what fits. Donald Trump. Yes, Donald Trump. Get ready for this, everyone, since he's just shown the nation his true nature once more. And on this occasion, even some of his strongest backers struggle to stand by him. Late yesterday evening, on his own social platform, he reshared a nasty and prejudiced clip that presented our country's first black president and first lady as monkeys. It's a clear nod to one of the most ancient and worn-out stereotypes in this nation. Let me explain how outdated it is. It's a tired, prejudiced idea. Initially, the Trump team did their usual routine, protect the president and go after the media. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told reporters in a release, "This comes from a web meme showing President Trump as the jungle ruler and Democrats as figures from The Lion King. Drop the false upset and cover real issues that matter to Americans." A fast reminder for the press secretary, The Lion King doesn't feature apes. The response to Trump's share was quick and strong, particularly from House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries. That offensive clip put up by the person claiming to be president was deliberate. Donald Trump with his foul, prejudiced, and harmful actions. This individual is a deranged lowlife. President Obama and Michelle Obama are smart, kind, and devoted citizens. They embody what's great about America. It's past time for Mike Johnson and Republicans to reject this repeated con artist who's at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue acting like the U.S. leader. But this instance, Trump's prejudice was so direct that it overwhelmed even parts of his own group. Several Republican officials spoke out against the share. A few urged him to say sorry. Here's Senator Tim Scott's message. Hoping it wasn't real, as it's the most prejudiced item from this administration. The president needs to take it down. Hoping it wasn't real. Prior to that post, the senator must have known about the Central Park 5 case, the birth certificate falsehoods, the travel ban on Muslims, derogatory terms for countries. All that wasn't real. I could list more, and so could you. Yet none of those congressional Republicans who tweeted today showed the bravery that this 3-time Trump supporter expressed on C-SPAN. I'm a registered Republican. I voted for the president, backed him, but I truly want to express regret. Seeing this terrible image of the Obamas, what a shame for our nation. All this guy does is spread falsehoods. He's unfit for the office. He accepts payoffs openly and now shows prejudice openly. As a leader, he's pitiful. I just want to say sorry to everyone in the country for backing this awful person. And keep in mind, the president kept that prejudiced share visible for 12 hours before finally removing it. Then the administration attempted to say an unidentified staff member did it. I can't decide what's more offensive, expecting us to think Trump didn't do it himself or believing we'd feel better knowing a random aide posted from his account at 11:44 at night. Even Fox News pushed Trump's press secretary on how the president was handling this. It's not only Democrats. Republican senators like Pete Ricketts and others are saying, we get it was, but the president should just apologize and admit it was an error. Sorry if it upset anyone. Why not? Well, I won't jump ahead of the president, Laura, and he might talk to reporters later today. Okay, she avoids getting ahead of him. Well, soon after, Trump had a chance to express regret, and here's what he stated. Mr. President, several Republicans want you to apologize for that share. Will you? No, I didn't err. What error? You didn't err. The president also said he just missed the prejudice portion of that clip before it went up under his name. Everyone, I'm not sure about you, but I don't buy it. That offensive clip put up by the person claiming to be president was deliberate. Donald Trump with his foul, prejudiced, and harmful actions. This individual is a deranged lowlife. President Obama and Michelle Obama are smart, kind, and devoted citizens. They embody what's great about America. With us now is House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. Leader Jeffries, thanks for joining us. Especially given what the president has done, this is a key discussion. Those who know you, reporters like us who've covered you or met you, view you as a steady individual. So many might have been caught off guard by the video you released, surprised that it pushed you to that point where ultimately the U.S. president does these things, and it makes all of us reflect on our responses. What does it signify for America to have a leader who not only shares prejudiced content, whose decisions carry prejudiced implications, and who denies it while his staff denies it repeatedly, even when we can clearly see what was shared? His actions are repulsive, and the reactions have been repulsive. So naturally, regular people, including me, feel repulsed by everything. I had to express that in the most direct way I could. Right now, the president should admit his error. He should say sorry, and maybe most crucially, commit to improving. We ought to unite the nation, but instead, this person keeps trying to divide us with no excuse for it, and his conduct is unacceptable. It's shocking and goes against American values. You referred to it as an error, leader, and I wonder if you truly see it that way, or if you believe President Trump is prejudiced. Well, from the angle of it being an error, it was an error in terms of posting something like this, a prejudice clip aimed at President Obama and Michelle Obama, who are both outstanding, devoted, empathetic Americans, as I've said, representing the finest aspects of our nation. So, folks, Obama and those close to him are highlighting that Donald Trump committed a huge blunder. And Obama achieves this by simply being the superior person. He doesn't have to directly attack Donald Trump. The real impact is that all Obama needs to do is point to what's happening and remind people of his time. I've discussed this previously. Obama departed office with high approval, though he wasn't without debates. On economic matters, Obama leaned too far right for some. Certain foreign choices drew criticism, like drone usage and such. Many argue he didn't build the party for lower-level wins. He had personal popularity, but it didn't always help others, all that aside. But in people's memories now, none of that counts because of 2016. Recall Trump won then, but started in 2017. It's as if 2016 marked the final ordinary year for folks. I hear from younger people, even those on the right who were kids back then, saying 2016 was the last time they felt optimistic, the last time they truly sensed hope. And a large piece of that was Obama still leading, imperfections notwithstanding. They looked forward with hope. His greatest comeback is that daily Donald Trump brings back those memories, showing things improved under Obama. They did under Biden, too, but with Biden, there lingered this worry we might regress. And globally, it's similar. Obama enjoyed more favor abroad than at home. Biden was liked, but Obama especially. Once Trump won, the world lost full faith in America. They appreciated Biden, but knew Trump could return, and they were correct. Obama represented the final era when America and the world felt positive about America. And that prejudice clip brings it all back to us.